Excellent. So we are recording, and it's great to have you all here. Of course, our topic today is to talk about the Softland Expo USA edition, which is on October 27th and 28th. The whole goal is really to help you connect to resources, to connect to partners, to connect to investments, depending on your goals. We certainly want to help you do that. And so what we're going to do in the next half hour is today's focus is really an orientation to the event and the tools. And then next week, we're going to do another workshop that's really about preparation. So we're going to talk about, instead of talking about sort of the technology and the agenda, we'll talk about some of the things that you can do to get the most out of the event, whether it's preparing yourself, helping your team prepare, any of those types of things. And then we will have one more get together that we'll do just after the event, where we will talk about follow-up. And so obviously you go through all of these activities and you want to make sure that you not only get the most out of it on the front end, but that you are diligent with connecting with people afterwards and securing the relationships that are valuable for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my slides. I may pop back in here just for a minute to let anyone else in that goes to the waiting room. So let me just pull my slides up. And I would just ask, if you're not speaking, if you wouldn't mind muting so that we have good sound quality, that would be great. So I'm gonna pop through a few slides. I'm also gonna share, I'll share some screens of the website and also the agenda. And again, I'll repeat myself. There it sounds like there are a couple of people that maybe haven't muted. If you wouldn't mind just muting, that would be great. So mute your microphone.
네, 마이크를 다 꺼주시기 바랍니다. 그 뮤트 상태로 좀 해주시기 바랍니다.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you. All right, so the kind of the overarching thought here that I want to share, and I think this is something that is a challenge for people when they are coming to an event, and you know that sometimes we wait for somebody else to do something. Or wait for somebody else to introduce us or make a connection. I would think of this a lot like you're buying a gym membership, essentially. And, you know, each of us is going to have a different program. Each of us is going to have different priorities in terms of what goals we have, in terms of outcomes and what kind of physical shape we want to get into. And so with that, each of us needs to use different equipment. We need to have a different series of activities we do to reach those goals. And so this is where, you know, we want to make sure that we individualize our activities, but nobody else can exercise for us. Nobody can lift the weight for us. Nobody can run on the treadmill for us. We have to do those activities. And so, you know, I think it's kind of one of those things where you almost think of, you know, the work that the Korean Innovation Centers has done, the work that we're doing to sort of set up this opportunity. And now it's time for you to sort of, you know, identify the right path for you in terms of getting the most out of this and sort of activating your experience. So our agenda is really simple. We're going to talk about some key features of the event. We'll talk and actually look at the setup of the exhibit booths. We'll have a few suggested actions between now and next week, and then we can answer your questions as well. So I'm going to go, and I apologize, I'm going to go kind of fast through this. Again, it's being recorded, so any of this can be replayed as well. But I just want to make sure that we cover it and have time for questions. So there are 60, in the 24-hour event, there are 64 workshops. 32 of them are focused on content for companies entering the US, and 32 of them are focused on content for companies that are going from the US out to other countries. So this particular event is US-centric, so it again is aiming to support companies that are coming into the US and also companies that are going from the US out. We also will have a main stage, and on the main stage, we'll have 8 different case studies that will happen through the course of the day, where you can hear about companies that have entered the US and some of the things that really worked very well for them. And there'll be a variety of different industries that are showcased in that. So we'll have some good diversity. We'll have 4 public matchmaking sessions. And matchmaking sessions, if you know this term speed dating, it's a lot like that. So those will have essentially meetings that will happen through an algorithm. Essentially, you'll be matched with people who the system identifies as potential good connections for you. And you'll have a 5-minute meeting. There'll be a 30-second break between meetings, and then you'll go into the next meeting. And it's essentially rapid meetings. And these are 50 to 55-minute sessions where you go through and have these meetings. So it's kind of, the idea is to have quick conversations, identify if there's some reason to have a deeper conversation, and then you can do that. We'll also have, and I think several of you have applied for the global pitch events that will be at the embedded into our program. And if you haven't applied yet, the deadline is this Friday. So you need to get your application in, and I'd highly recommend it, both if you're looking for investment and also if you're looking for exposure, or both. That we've partnered with an organization called America's Real Deal. And some of you may know the TV show Shark Tank. This is a competing show for Shark Tank that's just emerging now. They just did a first season online, and they'll likely be distributed through Netflix in their next season. So they'll actually have bigger distribution than Shark Tank, but the format is probably similar to what you're used to. There's a 5-minute pitch and 5 minutes of Q&A. The judges are investors, and the companies that pitch it at our event will have the opportunity to pitch on the TV show. So then the next stage, the successful companies, the next stage for them would actually be to pitch on the TV show. So again, not only great opportunities for investment and connecting to investors, but also great opportunity great media opportunity to get good exposure. And then, of course, there'll be exhibit booths, and certainly you all are exhibiting, plus there will be a variety of service providers. There will be other companies that are looking to enter the US that are exhibiting, so a variety of resources as well that you can connect to. And then the last thing is there'll be some countries and some US states will be doing ecosystem tours. These are 14-minute sort of virtual visits to various ecosystems. So you can connect with some of the resources there. If there are states you're interested in learning more about, you can do that. And yeah, so an easy way to virtually visit some other territories. So I want to just share, and I'm just going to click on this link. And actually, while I'm out here, I'm just going to see if there's anyone else in that I need to let into Zoom. And there's one person, of course. Glad I did that. Okay, so let's go back. Oops, right to here. Okay, so on your screen now, you should see the agenda, and I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger here. See if we can, there we go. That might appear better on your screen. So, and I'm not sharing this, and we'll share the link so you can look through this in detail, and certainly on the event website, you can go through the agenda. This agenda is a little bit easier to sort of get a perspective of the whole event. And so, and really, it's, I'm not going to sort of scroll down and go into terrible detail because I'll share this with you, but really just so you see how the format is. So these times are in East Coast US time. So 8 a.m. would be 9 p.m. your time is when we're starting. Obviously 9 p.m. the next, I'm sorry, 8 a.m. Yeah, it'd be 9 p.m. on the 27th. And so this will lay out all of the events that are going on in the various time blocks. So we have, as you'll see in the third column, we have main stage events, which are the case studies, and we'll actually have some discussions that will happen during those periods. And then the two next columns are the workshops. So those will be, what are they, 16-minute workshops on various topics. So we have, as I said, 32 inbound and 32 outbound topics. And again, you can go through this in detail and figure out which ones you want to be a part of. And on the site, you can actually enroll in the various workshops. And then the far right column are all the featured events. And just to scroll down, you'll see the pitch events are here on the right side. You'll see some ecosystem tours, and this will get more populated as we get closer. We have got ecosystem tours. You'll actually see the at 7 p.m., which would be 8 a.m. on the 28th, there'll be the Korea Delegation Matchmaking Session, which would be really good. And then there's the last pitch event is at, that will be 10 a.m. on the 28th, your time in Korea. So there's, and this, if I didn't say it off the top, this event is 24 hours. We actually have we added a 25th hour for an after party so that we can be social and kind of have fun together and all that stuff. So in any event, please, take a look at it, and certainly on the site as well, you can sign up for any of the particular things that you want to participate in as well. Let's talk about your exhibit booth. So there are a couple of things we want to talk about here, and I'm just going to pop into this really quick. We'll go into the setup and engagement, and we'll take a look at that really quick. And some of you I know have already been in and set up your booths. So I'm on the landing page for the event right now. And certainly, if you don't have this link yet, we can certainly share it with you. But the event link, you can look at the agenda, you can look at sponsors, speakers, all the sessions and all that. But I'm just going to log in, and so I'm our company. We have a booth here, so I'm just going to go in and just go through and take a look at our booth. I'm sorry, let's see, where did I see it? Oh, here we go. And so so you can set up, we're now in, so I'm in as an exhibitor, just as you, if you haven't yet been, as you will be. And so I can set up team members here. So anyone on our team, I can manage my leads here, and the leads will populate as they come in. And probably the most important thing to just spend a few minutes on right now is the exhibitor setup. So you'll come here. I think we had logos for all of you. If you want to change out the logo, you can easily do that. And you do need to format it to their sizing, but it works out well. You can use a streaming, whatever streaming service. We're obviously using Zoom, but you can put in streaming so you can have live meetings in your booth. Then you can put in any kind of promotional video that you have, your description. If you have an offer or some call to action that you're going to give to people that are visiting your booth, you can add that as well. And then any of your social media links, very simple. And then any documents, be it PDF or PowerPoint or whatnot, that you want people to be able to download, you can add those. You can also have links to documents. So there are a variety of ways to sort of take advantage of building your booth. And ultimately, your booth is a web page. And so the web page will allow you to text back and forth with visitors. You can video chat with them. If you're not in your booth, the site will collect anyone that wants to engage you. So if people want to request an appointment, they can do all of that type of thing as well. And so let's going back to this. So there are a couple of resources, and obviously this is a very quick look at the setup, but there are a couple of resources that are valuable here. One is we have an exhibitor welcome kit. Let's click on here. If this hasn't been sent out to you, I apologize. We'll get it right out to you. I just shared it with Brian and Yang, and we will again get it out to you if you haven't seen it. but this will give you a variety of assets and information to both set up your booth and also market it. So there's, all of our various social media, as well as specific information about booth setup. The other resource that I'd share with you is something by the platform itself, and this gives you various tips and techniques for setting up your booth as well. So there are a variety of resources here. I think most of you will find it really simple and intuitive, but again, there's plenty of different things that will help support you getting set up well. So let's see. And then, so suggested actions, there are 3 basic suggested actions that we have right now. One is, I think all of you have received the needs and interests questionnaire, and we do have, I think, 9 or 10 of you have completed it, and it's come back into us. We obviously want to help you make good connections, and so there's certainly the 24 hours of this event, which is important. But obviously, our goal is to have a relationship with you and with the Korea Innovation Center, for years. So the more we know about your goals and who you're trying to connect with, and what are valuable, whether it's valuable information or valuable connections for you, we want to help facilitate that. So if for anyone that hasn't filled that in yet, it probably will take you 3 minutes or 4 minutes. That's really helpful information for us, and it can help us, whether it's guide people to you during the event or even post-event, help you make some connections. That's great. The next is to set up your booth, and I would really encourage you to, if you haven't yet, to do that before we meet next week. That way, if there are questions you have that you weren't able to answer through the resources we've shared, you're able to ask those questions as well. And then next week it'll be on this same time for you all on the 15th of October. We're going to do the Prepare workshop, which I think that'll be really helpful. And again, here we're focused more on the systems. That will focus much more on the various techniques and skills to be able to leverage a trade show in the U.S. And so anything we can share there about that. And just so you know, we run this organization called Softland Partners, which is sort of hosting this event. But our business, separate from that, is actually helping international companies enter the U.S. and exhibit at trade shows. So we actually have a fair amount of expertise in helping companies exhibit at trade shows. So we're going to share a lot of what we've learned over 7 years of supporting international companies entering the U.S. So I think you'll find it as really valuable content. The one other suggested action that I didn't put here that I would mention is, so each of you has, and again, let us know if you haven't received the link, but each of you at this point, and it was probably 2 weeks ago, you would have received a link from the platform, which is called excelevents.com. You would have received a link that would give you access to manage your booth. So if you haven't seen it, you might look in your spam folder. If you can't find it, again, it's ACE. In fact, I'll put in a minute, when I come back on screen, I'll put it in the chat so you have the link. But if you can't find it, just let us know and we can really easily resend you the link. It's not a problem. And that will create, on the system, that will create an ID for you. And when you go in, when you follow the link, you'll be asked to create a password. Once you've done that, then actually Brian and Young sent out or are sending out a access code to you. You'll want to also get a participant ticket. That will create for your ID, that will not only give you credentials to manage your booth, but it will give you credentials as an attendee so that you can then see all the workshops and register for workshops and all of that stuff. So you need to kind of do both steps. And I'll make sure that in our follow-up note, we share those 2 steps for you. But that would be, I think, really helpful for you. So to kind of bring it back full circle here, again, this is, we're sharing with you a platform that's very powerful But there's a certain point where the Korea Innovation Center and kind of our work ends, and where yours begins. And this is really where we're passing the baton to you to sort of leverage this resource, leverage these assets, so that you can get the most out of it. And we're here to help, but we can't work out for you, if you will. We can't force you. So this is where where you all need to jump into the process. So I'm going to come back on screen, and we can certainly answer any questions. And I'll type in here the website link. But what questions do we have? And we do have a few minutes, so let's hop into whatever questions you have. This is the interactive part. Did I bore you all?
질문사항 있으면 편하게 질문해 주시기 바라겠습니다.
Hey, I have a quick question.
Yeah, please.
When you said about the global pitch competition, is that the application for the real, what was the name? The Real Deal, I think. Real America
Yeah, it's
Deal?
called America's Real Deal. You're exactly
America
right.
Real Deal.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yep. I should have said that. That's the TV show. So yes.
Okay, got it.
That's correct. Did you applied?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Excellent. Good stuff. What other questions?
So Bill, I have a quick question. Does every one of the company who apply for the America's Real Deal, they get a chance to do the pitching, or you have to be selected first in order to give a pitching?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question, Brian. Yeah. So there is a selection process. We should be able to inform most companies that are pitching, I would think, by mid next week. The application process ends on Friday, but it should only be a few days before we're able to let you know if you were selected. We are preferring companies that are parts of pavilions, so you definitely have an advantage. But we'll probably have more applications than we have spots. So obviously we need to do a little selecting.
Okay.
Cool. What other questions? I'm sure I didn't cover everything. Please feel free. You're among friends. I see very many, a lot of good friendly faces here. Is there?
Bill, let me ask
Yeah.
a question. So
Thanks, John.
tell us a little bit about who, what organization and who are participating in the event, and interact with these companies.
Sure. Yeah, and maybe and thank you, Young. That'll maybe help me give a broader view as well. So I should explain to you, everybody, that this is our first time hosting this event, and so we're going to really want your feedback at the end of it. Our goal is to really help you all make good connections, and we started this organization that's running the event called Softland Partners actually about a year ago, and we have networks now of meetups that are going on of support organizations for companies that are internationalizing in 14 cities around the world. We're not in Korea yet, but I think in working with you all, we'll find someone in Korea to help us start up a chapter there. But we're as close to you as Mumbai, and actually we have an LA chapter and a Silicon Valley chapter as well. But so we've built this infrastructure to help companies internationalize, and so with this event, you're going to see a few different types of attendees. You'll certainly see companies that are internationalizing, either coming into the U.S. or going from the U.S. out. You'll see trade and investment organizations, so organizations, probably either government or industry, that are tasked or focused on supporting companies entering new markets and being successful in that. And then finally, you'll have service providers who are providing services and resources. So that might be funders, investors. Certainly, you're going to see attorneys, accountants. They're just the whole people that can help with business development and distribution and all those types of things. So all the resources that would support market entry. We are planning, just so you see kind of our vision going forward and why your feedback's really important, is we're planning to do 3 of these next year. The first one, right now, the way we're architecting it, we'll be able to share final details when we see you later this month. But The first one will be a North America focused one. This one's USA focused, but the first one will be North America, and that'll be in April. Then Asia will be, so either going out of Asia or coming into Asia will be in June, and then Europe will be in, it looks like early November. So there are things we're going to do, I think, that will be very good and will work well for you. I'm sure there are going to be some things that we can improve, and please, we're friends, and I want you to feel comfortable, and if there are things you see we could do better, let us know, and I'm sure there will be. We'll share a survey right after the event, and any feedback you can give us would be great. We'd really appreciate it. So you will see a good diversity of resources that are part of this support ecosystem for internationalization and market entry. And the more you can communicate to us who you're looking to connect with, the better we'll be able to target and bring those people in. And certainly if we work with you on future events, will just get better and better as well. So obviously we'll do our best for this one and continue to build that capability. Did that answer your question, Yang? Perfect. It was a longer answer. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, can I invite my friends or my colleague or some company who I want to connect or investor, because they want to show our company, but there's no opportunity to show our company. But in this opportunity, we can show our company more very well. And so I want to invite some company or investor or, yeah, is that possible?
Yep. Yeah, we'd actually love it if you did. So we've shared what's called an access code with Brian and Yang. And Brian and Yang, you're more than welcome to share that. And certainly you should share it with this group. And please, if there are people in your network, it could be, as you said, investors or resources of some kind. It might also be companies that are also internationalizing that you're familiar with. We certainly want to make this a big hint, and so the answer is yes. And Brian and Yang have a free an access code that will give people free admittance.
Thank you.
Yeah, please don't put it on Facebook.
I don't. I will.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's really each of us has really good networks, and so it's really. The goal here is to attract those networks in under this big tent and help everybody connect. What other questions?
I also have another question for the America's Real Deal, the pitch event. Sure. Because what I understood was that the viewers, like the Americans, can actually invest in private companies during the show, and then does it mean that it is more focused on B2C companies? Because
that's a really good question, because I had the same question when I met them, because you see a fair amount of consumer type reference, and they have the capability to buy product off the site and things like that. But the company that won their first season was a B2B company, so. On the TV show, their ratio has been I think they said 60% consumer and 40% B2B, but they're very open to, and they have investors that sort of fit sort of all markets, and I should also let you know that they're internationalizing this, so they're getting ready to announce a launch of Singapore's Real Deal, and so there will be others of these around the world, and there may be a Korea's Real Deal at some point. Hopefully, through this, that may be a springboard for them. But to answer your question, this is definitely open to whether it's B2B, B2G, B2 government, or B2C. Type companies. It's really about sort of the how investable is the business, and they have an investor network that's interested in all sectors.
All right, great. Thanks, Bill.
Oh, my pleasure.
I have an additional question.
Sure.
Going into America Real Deal won't have a conflict with Shark Tank?
It will not. No.
Okay. Got it.
No. In fact, one of the original sharks, a guy named Kevin Harrington, is a part of America's Real Deal. So. Yeah, there's no conflict there. Are there any other questions? Well, thank you all. This has been fantastic. I guess I wish you all a good morning. Those that are in the U.S., a good evening. And we're going to meet at the same time next week. Again, we'll share this video with you so you have it and can pull up any of the slides easily. But yeah, again, set up your booth, do the, get your registration taken care of so you're can look at the rest of the event and register for different parts, and then just get those setup things done, and then we'll reconvene next week. But it's been really nice to talk to you all, and certainly wish you a good day.
Yeah, just want to make a quick comment.
Sure.
저희가 오늘 오리엔테이션 영상 녹화된 거는 기업분들한테 다 송부를 해드리도록 하겠습니다. 그래서 한 번 더 보시고 그 플랫폼에 접속을 해보시고요. 그 궁금하신 점 있으시면은 추가적으로 KIC의 이메일로 주시면 저희가 답변을 해드리도록 하겠습니다.
네.
고맙습니다. Okay, Bill, I just informed the audience they can ask additional questions via email, so we can get back to them.
That's great. Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I couldn't have. You recognize my limitations immediately, and I do apologize for my ignorance. I have one language, so you have the best of what I have at this point. But thank you again for spending time with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.